Alright guys, here's a video everyone's been dying for about these tail lights that everyone's afraid to cut open. Before I get started, I'm just going to go over some of the supplies you're going to need. I mean, it's if you do it yourself, you're going to save a ton of money. I don't know the quote people are getting for quotes for having people do this, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around probably $500 to have someone cut these open and paint them for you. More if you're going to get any like inserts or any type of LEDs or anything like that added. Sorry, I'm sick if I sound like shit, but first off, the Dremel. I just got this Dremel 100 series. It's like the cheapest, it's like $35 at Walmart. It's a single speed. I was kind of worried about the single speed at first, but it's a good speed anyway, so it doesn't matter. I first actually bought a battery powered one, and that thing was way too weak. You could literally put it on high speed and pinch it with your fingers and the blade would stop spinning. So definitely want to make sure you get a corded one. So this is it here. As far as the bit you're going to use here, I just got these, everything I got at Walmart. It's let me show you the pack here. Just heavy duty cutoff wheel number 420, 20 piece. I mean, I've only broken one so far, kind of get into the first tail light, so you don't have to really worry about the durability of them. I know I saw some comments about people getting that weird serrated one that's like $25-30. I mean, if you really want to, go ahead and do it, but like I said, I got these, the whole 20 pack was like $5, and I've only broken one and it did the job just fine. So as far as cutting into these taillights, I'm not going to video the actual cutting. Flyride actually has a video on his Flickr account. That's where I saw to do it. I mean, it's kind of I wouldn't be able to do any better than the video anyway. That's kind of what I use to guide me through cutting these. It would have been nice if he had some video comments too while he was doing it, because I learned from some mistakes I made on the first one. The biggest thing with cutting these open, guys, is going to be just following the edges as close to the edges as you can without obviously cutting into the lip on the red outer plastic here. Especially up on this ledge here, you got to get super close to the edge here, because after you get this first housing off, they're not like the 2012 ones where after that it's just the metal housing inside that you use a couple screws and you pop it out. This one, there's actually a second plastic housing inside underneath this, and if you don't cut up close enough to this outer edge, it's going to be stuck underneath the lip here, and you're going to end up having to cut extra off and just have bigger gaps and having to use more silicone. So that was probably the biggest thing I learned from doing the first one after I popped it open, was to just make sure you get really close to these outer edges. Another thing, I'll go through this after I cut it. I'll start up another video here to show you guys the actual cut that I did, so you can see the line that I followed here. Basically the biggest thing is on these flat edges here, you're going to want to actually cut flat into it. Just be careful you don't go too deep to where you're going to actually cut through onto the surface of the tail light that you can actually see. So anytime you have these flat surfaces, it's pretty much the reflector side of the light that you're going to do the flat surface all the way down, and then you're going to come around here, and then it basically stops right here once you get to this weird little screw hole in this little tab, because this is where that weird little red plastic piece screws up to. Also, I guess I forgot the basic here. If you've never pulled your tail light out, it's super basic. Back of your in your trunk, there's just a little plastic, not plastic, just like the carpeting cover on the outside. You just pop that thing out, and then it'll expose this part of the tail light. It's just going to be 4 10mm bolts there. Nuts. Excuse me. So just undo those, and then this will be the only thing plugged in. Pop that out, and then you should be able to wiggle it out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing open, and I'll start up another video and guys show you the cut lines again. All right, guys. So took the Dremel to this thing. I'm just going to go around. I haven't cleaned it up, so it looks like shit with all these little plastic pieces hanging off and stuff. But once you get all these little melted pieces cleaned up, it doesn't look as bad as it does at first. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to show you the line that I did, so you get an idea. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to seal it up with silicone anyway at the end, so I mean, if there's some areas where there's a bigger gap than others, I mean, it just means more silicone, that's all. But So and I'll also go over a couple things that I've actually run into with this one that I didn't run into when I was cutting open the first one. But anyway, so we'll start up here at the top, up at the reflector side here. So you're gonna want to cut the flat side here, pretty much from this side all the way until you basically are forced to go up the side because these tabs here. But what I'm actually running into up here, yes, it looks like shit up here because this curve is really hard, is the plastic housing. Actually, this black piece here with the little wings on it, that's an actual plastic piece that's on the inside of this, and it's actually sticking. When I cut, it actually like melted, the plastic melted these two pieces together, so I'm trying to work at this to try to get that popped. But so basically, yeah, so starting from there, you're going to come down the side, and on the other tail light it's going to be the exact same thing except opposite. This will be on the other side. Come down on these flat edges. I realized I told you guys to get as close as the edge as possible. Up at the top, I think it's more from like this outer edge here is the most important. Once you get here, I'd actually honestly go a little bit further in, because what I've noticed cutting this part here is I'm all the way through. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I'm through. You can see the red lens through here, and I'm still unable to separate this from the housing. So I think I'm actually too far out to where it's not separating. So this I'd actually go a little bit further in until you get to this outer spot, because you need this part to go far enough out to get that inner wing piece to fit out through that opening. But anyway, so you're going to come around the side here. Once you get to these tabs, this is basically where that red piece mounts up, that little fin thing that's on the outside of the car. It's just 2, 3 screws. You're going to want to go up and over that, and then you're going to follow this down. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's some metal inside of there. Those are like little tabs, like metal tabs that kind of fit these two pieces together. So once you hit that, you'll know you're through the plastic, and just kind of clean it up enough to where you can see the metal. You don't have to worry about going through the metal. I mean, you'd really have to sit there and remount for a while, and sparks would be flying to actually go through that metal. So yeah, so like I said, yeah, it'll clean up better once you pull this stuff off. But then you're going to come around until you get to the tip here. Follow the tip, and then on this whole other side, you're just going to follow the very bottom edge, pretty much as close as you can to the bottom here. There was actually, you'll probably notice from the first clip here, there were these tiny little tabs that kind of stuck up here, and down on this end somewhere. You're going to just want to cut those off, because then you'll be able to cut closer to this to the lens. So just cut those off, and then just cut right through, and then you're going to come all the way around. And then once you get to this corner here, where that little V shape is, you're going to go back, because this isn't your flat surface again, and then you're going to go flat down towards the lens. And you'll see when you're cutting through, you'll be able to see the red once you get through all the way. And then you're just going to do that all the way back up to the top. And when you're done with that, basically you're just going to take and you're not, after your first cut, I mean, especially your first time, you're going to be nervous. You're not going to cut too far through. You're going to have a lot of areas we're going to have to go back and recut. But basically just take a screwdriver with like a pretty thick flathead the screwdriver, and then you're just going to fit it in. Basically you're just going to, I stick it in, and then I just twist it a little bit just to get it to pop. So yeah, and you follow it down, and you'll see when if you have it good, you can see it kind of separating there. Here you see it's popping up, so we know that the cuts are good there. And as you're pulling it up with a screwdriver, you'll hear little pops and snaps as like the little bits of plastic that are still stuck on there. Yeah, see it's separating there, and you'll be able to see. I don't know if I can get a good angle. And the little tabs, those metal tabs there that are coming up. So I'm gonna keep working. I can't seem to get this front edge here. Like I said, this top piece is, if you can see there, it's like welding. Like the plastic melted. So it's stuck together. So I'm gonna actually end up having to probably cut further out here, and I'm gonna have a bigger gap. But like I said, it's gonna need a little bit more silicone. You're not gonna see any of this anyway from the outside, so it doesn't have to be pretty. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and once I get it cracked open, we'll go ahead and go over how to get the secondary housing out. Alright, so finally figured, got that stupid end piece off here. So yeah, so once you got all the edges done and pulled up, and you take your screwdriver, pry up all the sides, it should pretty much just pop off. You might have to give it a little muscle, but other than that, I mean, you got your two halves here. One thing I did forget to show you guys, this had me stumped for the longest time when I thought I had cut all the edges, everything popped up good on the first one, and I'm like, why is this thing not coming out? On the back of this here, you actually have 4 screws keeping the two pieces together here. You got one on the end here, and then you have one, I don't know if you can see the lighting, there's one here on one of the ends, and then 2 are actually inside here. You can't see, but down at the top here, you have one down inside there, and then you also have another one. It's kind of deep down in there, and then another one somewhere. Where is it? Oh, down here next to the blinker bulb there. So you got 4 total, aside from the 3 that hold that little red fin on, that are actually keeping these housings together. So make sure you take all 4 of those out before you try pulling this apart, or it's not going to go anywhere. So then basically we're done with this. We're not going to do anything with the outer housing until we close it back up. So you get here, basically to start, just start pulling all this basically anywhere you see a screw. There are all these tiny little screws here. You're just going to pull them apart. This is the LED for the red lines that we're going to be working with here. So there's you don't actually take the board off. Just take the plastic ones holding it on there. All these reflectors here. There's 2 on here. So basically, yeah, just unplug everything and start taking all those bolts off. The screws, sorry. And this little plastic clip here, this little reflector from the outside, this, once you get those bolts off, that'll just pop right out of the screws. This will just pop right out. And then after that, I will come back on and we'll go over pulling out the actual inner housing here, because this whole piece has to come out in order to get to the chrome housing here to get to those lights. So I'll be back. All right, so at this point, you should be at, like I said, all those screws should have come out except for the ones on the back of this board for the LEDs here. Actually, I still left 2 in. I can take out now 2, which is part of the black housing that we're going to do. But yeah, you should have this housing out. I mean, these LED strips here, and your reflector. I pop it out because it makes it easier to get this inner housing out with that out, because it's really stiff. You should have, those are the little tiny screws. I don't know how many there are, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 or 9. And then at this point, nothing is actually keeping this in except for it being behind this outer housing. So this is like why when I told you guys in the first video to get as close as you can to the edge, because as you can see, like up here at the edge here, this housing is really close. On my first light, I actually cut way further in, so I had to do a lot of trimming to be able to get it to where this is going to be able to pop out. So the easiest way to do this part is going to be work from here. You're going to want to pop this part out of the behind the plastic edge here. What I do is I take like a credit card or an ID or whatever you have, and once you get this side popped up, stick this under here to keep it up, and then I work down to the bottom half here where you have that V shape, and just keep working your way. Once you pop this part up, this whole housing should pretty much be able to wiggle its way off. So I'm going to try to film as much of this as possible. Like I said, I don't have a head strap or anything, so I'm going to have to just put this down somewhere and hope you guys can see decently. Excuse me. So yeah, just be careful with this. I mean, it's pretty sturdy. I mean, it's flimsy, but surprisingly, I've given some pretty good force on this thing, and it hasn't snapped on me yet. Just cross my fingers. But yeah, so you want to work your way up on this till you pop that out, and then stick your card underneath there like that to keep that edge up, and then you're going to work down on this bottom edge here, and just kind of keep working your way down. It takes a lot of finagling to get it to pop out, but, and see, this is where here too on my first one, up on this edge, I had to end up trimming a lot more of this off because at this V, I wasn't close enough to this edge. So yeah, definitely everywhere except for maybe right on this other edge here, you're gonna want to get as close to the edge as you can, because this housing is a pain. I should probably, actually I had two IDs with me last time I did this. Probably, and I stuck one under this corner too. Oops, you guys probably can't see what I'm doing here, hold on. A butter knife here. Popping its way out here. Just kind of work your way down. This bottom edge, this stupid thing is slide on. And there, voila. And it slides out. You don't have to worry about trying to get this top part out, as long as you, like I said, you start from this top part, pry that out, and then work your way down to this bottom half, and once that comes out, the top will just slide it out. And this, we're done with that. Make sure you clean that up good, because you're gonna have all kinds of plastic chips on there. So to get this rest of this stuff out, first I need to go back and take these two screws out so I can see inside there, because you need to be able to pop that out. So I'll be back in just a minute here. Alright, so now that we got pretty much everything off the back of this, there's really nothing else we can take off until we actually get this housing off. This other LED strip has to come off, but there's another screw down in there you can't get to until you get this off. So we'll worry about that in just a second. So this piece right here is not kept in by anything. I mean, there's some tabs, internal tabs that you don't actually, nothing you pop. It's just like little clips that kind of it slides into. So this basically, just start from the back, and you're just gonna you'll find somewhere where it kind of gives a little bit, and then you're just gonna work your way around it, and yeah, like that, until it pops out. You kind of just slowly work your way around and just pop, pop, pop until it comes out. And then basically with this piece here, we're done with again until later. We'll just clean that up later. Then take out the rest of these few screws holding this this other LED strip for the bottom of the light there, and then that'll come right off. And then we'll work on getting the plastics out. I'll be right back. All right, so we got that LED strip off the back there. So this back is completely bare now, not a single thing on the back of this. Now to get these plastic pieces off the front here, these lenses, basically you just go from the back. You kind of just fit your fingers in through the back of them and pop them out. This red one, I'm going to warn you ahead of time, is in there pretty tight. I was sketched out at first. I was going to break something. I was pushing so hard, but your best bet is to put your finger in there, and you're going to want to push on this bottom curved. I guess you'll probably only be able to reach to like here, but just press on that, and eventually this part will lift just a little bit. And then what I do, so I don't cut up this this chrome at all, this chrome piece here, I take a butter knife with a microfiber towel, just wrap it in that, and then I fit the butter knife under there, and then I kind of slide and the rest kind of pops its way out. So I'm gonna do that now. I'll let you guys, I'll film that so you guys can see what I'm talking about in case I was confusing there. So fingers in through the back. Yeah, it's tight squeeze. I already got the pop. And then once you get it close enough, you'll see there's going to be a little gap there. And then that's when you're going to take your butter knife and fit it up under there, and then just work your way. I'm not sure which way I should go. Doesn't matter. Work your way up on the sides. Might be able to help push it from the back too a little bit. This one's really in there. No, I got enough of it out to where I can grab it with my fingers here. Nice, this one's in there freaking tight. I'll keep working. Just put enough at the side here. Yes, this one's in here tight. Tight one. Let's check on down this side here. There she goes. Yeah, so let's go down the bottom half. And then when you're done, this piece, and toss that because we're not going to use that ever again. And there you go. There's that part out. I just blacked out the entire thing because it would be way too much of a pain to tape off all this, because I wasn't sure where I would tape off because you have all these little chrome lines. I didn't want to have some chrome lines, some black lines, so I just did it all. So same with these other ones. You're just going to stick your finger to the back and eventually I'm going to do the same thing with this butter knife. Get up an edge as best you can. Or just push and it'll fly off in your face. That works too. So there's that lens. And then this little small one here on the end. Same thing, just stick your finger in the back. And just feel around. You'll find one edge that'll seem to give a little bit more than the others. So just focus on that side. And like I said, if you can or if you have to, get it up just enough to get the knife behind it. Suckers are in there tight. Anyway, so I'm going to keep fiddling with this last one to get this sucker out, and so you guys don't have to sit here watching me struggle with this. And then we'll come back, and after that, it's off to paint